welcome to the 700 subscriber special that I am not late for at all. Oh dear, anyways, jokes aside, today we're going to be doing the unpopular opinions. We're going to be discussing my unpopular opinions, some of your guys' unpopular opinions, and this is just going to be some fun. So anyways, a few things to know. This is unpopular opinions. You have been warned. You might get offended from these opinions, depending. So I am warning you in advance, unpopular opinions. This has spoilers for all Disventure Camp Season 1 and Season 2, and the footage in the background is owned by me. It's owned by Audition Cartoons. Anyway, for the sections for today, we're going to be doing my unpopular opinions, and discussing your unpopular opinions in conclusion. And for every unpopular opinions, what you'll see is that we're going to be going from Season 1 to Season 2, and then I'll continue. There's also some Disventure Camp All-Stars unpopular opinions. They'll do throughout, because I personally don't have any Disventure Camp All-Stars unpopular opinions at this point, because, well, the season hasn't come out yet. Kind of hard, but anyways, let's just get right into my own.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
So, welcome to my Season 1 unpopular opinions. We're just going to go right into a hot take. Tom and Jake are the worst in this entire franchise. So I'm going to quickly just tell you guys how much, the reasons why I do not like these two, because if you have seen my channel, you know I do not like these two as a pairing. We're going to start off with the obvious. I think it is a very forced thing. It feels like if the plot wasn't here, this wouldn't have happened. Now, why is that? Why does it feel very forced? I think it's because they skipped a stage. They skipped the friendship stage. Now you might be thinking, what the heck do you mean, Alexa? Let's go to Gabby and Ellie. Look, they also are debatably rushed, but whatever. So we see for the 6 episodes, we see them becoming friends, and then it shifts a new leaf. We see them turn, we know it's developed to be besties/friends. We know this. Now let's go to Tom and Jake. Do they have any of that developed to become friends? Anyways, whatever the previous bond is before they turn a new leaf. No, they don't. They immediately start off turning that new leaf with no development, no build-up, and that immediately makes it feel very forced. It makes it feel like they have zero chemistry, and in the slightest. I don't feel any chemistry from the two, so I cannot ship it. That is the first issue, that they're very forced. Now, if this was the only issue, I would not hate it as much. However, throughout the series, it's just, ugh. First off, it doesn't, again, it also doesn't feel like it can actually happen to me. Maybe you can argue this. A lot of people say it's realistic. I don't know if the beginning's really that realistic. And I'm going to quickly talk all my thoughts on why that is. Okay, so let's go into Jake quickly as a character. We're not going to go on to this long analysis for Jake. We do not have the time for this today in this video. What I will say, though, is he's gullible, naive, tons of drama, and ultimately, once you dig deeper, he can be a very toxic person. However, the main thing I want to highlight is what he said in episode 6. I would include the clip that I don't have recorded, but if you've seen episode 6, you know what I mean. He says he's not ready for something like this. What the actual heck? This changes everything that we've seen from the previous episodes, because he has spent the past few episodes leading Tom on when he knows he's not ready for this. The actual heck? What the? So he knows he's not ready for this, yet he's doing it anyway. What the? And then Tom, on the other hand, is here for work. You could argue definitely more that he's doing it. He still is doing his work and all that. But still, it feels like it's being very forced by the plot. But it also feels like this couldn't happen in a real scenario. Maybe it's just that Jake is just that dumb, or just, I don't know. Maybe I just need to dig deeper and deeper into that. But it feels like with Jake stating that he's not ready for something like this, it makes the entire also part that we just saw completely pointless. Because if he's not ready, if he knows he's not ready, why is he doing this? That is the main question here, but whatever. It's also very toxic because they don't have any trust between each other. You can argue, yes, they have some trust. However, that trust is immediately squelched. The trust they have immediately gets just crushed after a few episodes. The trust they had from episodes 1 to 5 got crushed in episode 6. The trust they had from episode 7 to 9 got crushed in episode 10. And I'm guessing the next thing they're going to crush is the episode 13 friendship or whatever that was. So they don't trust one another. It's this ship toxic on so many other levels. And also because Jake isn't overall, again, as I stated earlier, a toxic person. Even if it isn't meant to be toxic, he is just, he causes so much chaos and so much drama. I get it, it's accidental. However, it's just, no. I could go much more into depth today, but we've still got a lot to go, so I probably will also go more into depth than this with my season review, but there's that. Anyways, next opinion. Jensen, Trevor, and Derek are very boring in execution, but cool in concept. I think the idea of having like a yin-yang hosting thing is a very interesting idea. Having like a one group, all that, I think is a very interesting idea. However, the execution, we barely know much about these characters, besides their basic traits. Derek is rip-off Chris, Trevor is the nice one, and Jensen is criminal. What more do we really know? Like, you can argue, yeah, they have a cool dynamic, whatever, but you need more for hosting. Let's go to Crystal, our season 2 host. We get a development from her. We learn a lot about her character, which is why she's a lot better of a host. You could also argue with Chris, well, we don't know much about Chris and all that. He's Chris, and he's very entertaining, and overall, we do get to know a bit more about him throughout the seasons. So I do think that they're very interesting in concept, because I do like the concepts of having all this. However, they aren't really the best in execution, because we know so little about them. They were in 13 episodes. I can literally give you 3-word descriptions that perfectly describe them. I do not think that should be what I'm able to do whatsoever. So I'm hoping in season 3 we can see a bit more development and understand their characters more. Okay, Lil, Ashley, Dan are severely overrated characters. Let's unpack each of these. Look, Lil's a cool girl, stamped, but she is not the best character in the series. What the amount of praise I see for Lil for what she did is insane. Look, I like her strategic side, I like her as a character. However, her at the number 1 spot, number 2, number 3, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. And next up is Ashley on this list. Oh my goodness, the Ashley hype. I am excited to see her in Disventurecamp All-Stars, but she looks like she's gonna be the next Ellie in the sense that she's gonna hang out with Jake. I wish her luck. But moving on from All-Stars, it's just that she is number 1 on so many people's lists. She was in 5 episodes. Well, technically 6, but whatever. She did barely anything. She's like a glorified extra. That's the perfect way to describe her. Look, yeah, she's cool and has a cool personality, but other than Wishley and she doesn't have the intelligence to take down Fiore, so she doesn't even have the strategic side of the house. This is coming from the person who put her 11 on her list, by the way. Still, though, I do not think that she deserves to rank number 1. That's just my opinion. Anyways, Dan did nothing. I think somebody explained to me why they like Dan. I'm remembering right. I think I'd include your comment if I remembered. I'm sorry. But they explained that he's a funny character and not really worked with me and some other things. So I do appreciate that person. But still, Dan still did nothing to me. I do not understand the hype, even with the explanation. Maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I can understand why the Dan Nation is so strong. But he did nothing for 7 episodes. He made an alliance, did some weird friendship arc with Gabby. I still don't know. But yeah. Gabby and Ellie is better than every other development this season. Friendship-wise, I think they have the best of dynamic. It is just so wholesome. Oh my goodness. They're just such good friends. I am so happy they're still friends in All-Stars right now. Anyway, Miriam isn't the best choice for winner of the season. I already know I'm about to get that hate, but I do like Miriam as a winner. I need to make that clear to you guys. She's unpredictable, she's strategic, she's all that, although I do think Ellie would have been a better fit as a winner. I'm already hearing it. That is only because of your bias. No, it is not just because of my bias, but I think narratively, it makes a lot more sense for Ellie to win. As a character, we know she needs this money more than pretty much anyone else left. She needs that money to go to the fashion school of her dreams. She needs it. She's worked so hard to get to that point. And I get it. Were some of the methods unorthodox? Yeah. But no one in the final 3 is a saint. No one is. So it's like, pick which one. So, and then Ellie also, I get it, she is the BTA winner, but there's a reason she was the BTA winner. Here she's a lot more complex and interesting. At the surface, she might not seem that way, but once you dive into her character, she is a very interesting one. So I do think Ellie would have worked a lot better because narratively she needs the money the most. She's been through a lot and needs to get it. With Miriam, none of the other final 3 has motives. I wish they developed on Miriam's motives more. I really do. And I also wish they developed on Fiore's motives a bit more. Because if we have those motives, I would definitely root a lot more for Miriam or for Fiore, and they'd be much better winners. Because if the more motives they have in my eyes and the more they need the money, the better winner they can be. Because again, it feels more earned. With Miriam, she doesn't really need the money because ultimately she has what she needed. She needed friends. She needed somebody like that. And she already got that with Jake, and Tom too. So it's like she didn't even really need the money. Yeah, again, she's a good winner, but she didn't need the money. And so it doesn't feel as earned as it would with Ellie. Maybe this is just me and maybe I'm just wrong here, but Drew and Dan should have swapped placements. First off, Drew is a lot more fun of a character. I see a lot more people praising Drew than I see them praising Dan, I think. He is just really liked in this fandom, so I think it should have been a swap. Getting Drew to go that far would have not only given a bit more development for Tom and his like rivalry or whatever, we could have seen a lot more development through Drew and Gabby's friendship, and all Gret has to do is frame Dan instead. That's all she has to do. And he did nothing, and I'm sure Drew would do actually something because he could have a nice friendship arc with Gabby. He could have that rivalry with Tom, kind of, with him figuring out that he's a spy, and then he actually reveals it to Jake and Tom. He actually reveals it to Jake really nicely and doesn't mean it to be rude at all, and then he accidentally causes that conflict instead of Gret just being Gret. I think that would have been a very interesting. Anyway, on to season 2, Unpopular Opinion.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
Starter of season 2, Yul is one of the best characters in the franchise. Oh no, okay, here we go again. I think Yul is such a well-executed character in the fact that he's such a good villain. Like, I'm sorry, but he is so entertaining to watch. He is absolutely hilarious. Oh my goodness. And he is just, again, so fun to watch him be strategical when pretty much nobody else is being strategical, and when they are, they're being stupid about it. James episode 2. It is so cool to watch. His dynamics are always hilarious, entertaining. Kai and Yul's rivalry to me is so fun to watch. So is him and James. So I am so excited to see James and Yul interact in Disventurecamp All-Stars. Yul's gonna get his revenge! Okay, but still. Anyways, we're gonna be going on to the next thing, which is Aiden, Allie, and Hunter and Rosemaria are boring. Bland characters were severely overrated. Oh no. Okay. Aiden. Look, I used to be on the Aiden train too, but now I've had to rewatch the season a lot since I'm making a rewrite myself, so I forced myself to rewatch the season a lot to make sure that when I'm rewriting it, I'm making it better, not worse. But he did nothing. He's like Dan, but if Dan made to the final 3. Because he, again, did nothing. But I feel like I'll explain this later more because some of the fans of Popular Opinions actually explain why Aiden is so light, so I'll just say that for that. Anyways, Allie somehow did even less than Aiden. I don't know how that's possible. She did nothing for 9 episodes, had basically no personality. It's just, okay. I can't like a character that has barely any personality, but On to Hunter. He's just kind of there. He's also very bland. I think we're seeing a pattern here. And Rosemaria is also very bland. Like, I am sorry to the Rosemaria fans out there. I know there's a lot. But she's nice. What more? What more can you really talk about Rosemaria? Yeah, she has the 2 mom backstory, but that's never utilized. So there's really not much. She's used as a support character, which she's good at that, I'm not going to deny. But I wish she had a little arc of her own. She makes Final 5, for goodness sakes. Give her something, please. But either way, next, oh dear. Okay, moving on to the fan unpopular opinions. Because, again, I don't have much actually, so.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
Welcome. So I'm just going to quickly explain how this is going to work. So there's a lot of submissions. When I say there was a lot, I completely underestimated the amount, oh dear. But still, we're going to quickly get into this. Starting off with the fact that I did remove some opinions. Some of the opinions I would consider popular. This is unpopular we're talking about. Like, for example, there's no offense to this person, but somebody said that Dan and Rosemaria should have been in All-Stars instead of Miriam and Con or something like that. They should have been in instead of others, which is pretty much the popular opinion, I would say. Also, do note when I'm saying unpopular or popular when I'm deciding this, I'm only on YouTube. I don't use any other social medias. This is just me personally. So if it's popular on say Twitter/X or it's popular on TikTok, whatever, I don't use those social medias. So I'm only talking basically because I'm only talking in YouTube terms. So even then, we'll see. Anyways, we're just going to quickly hop into the season 1 unpopular opinions.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
Starting off with, it's unpopular, but Dan is up there for the remake for one of the most annoying characters of all time, and I'm glad he didn't last long. I don't want to consider annoying, but I would consider him very boring because, yeah, somebody actually also said, I don't know if I included this in the list, but somebody also said that Dan is a perfect character. I guess for his purpose he is, but what is that purpose? Or whatever. Anyway, moving on. It also felt like half of Fiori's team have felt like there were more to move her, Alec, and Ellie along than were to actually be characters. That's an interesting perspective that I never really thought of. I guess you could definitely argue that when it comes to Will and Nick, maybe, but I feel like Lil and Ashley were enough of their own characters to work. Again, Lil just got associated with Fiori by default because she's the Girl Scout and all that, and I finally realized she's a Survivor reference. I know, I didn't know where else to place that. But anyways, thank you. And I was going on to, I think that Miriam as a winner was not good for season 1. It made no sense because she was only relevant in the Jake build-up in episode 12. Since she was surviving for so long, everybody thought that she was going to win. So what that means to me is that it became predictable over time. I don't consider Miriam a predictable winner. We all thought that she was going to be booted eventually. Like, we were all guessing that she would be booted next episode. Oh, she wasn't booted this episode? It's going to be next, guys. It's going to be the next one. So I really cannot consider her the fact that I can't say that. However, what I would say is I do wish she is strategical, so I do like that. However, again, I do wish she had a bit more focus because, as this person stated, she was only really relevant in the Jake build-up in episode 12, so I do wish we got to see a lot more from Miriam because, again, it felt like she was a support character, not a winner in the slightest, which is, again, another reason why I oh dear. Anyways, the next one, I feel like Trevor Derek were only included in All-Stars because they are popular, and their only purpose in will be to serve comedy and fan service moments. I don't hate them or anything, but I just feel like with the return of Oliver Marcus and the introduction of a new character, there are way too many people working on the staff now. Ooh, okay. I think, of course, Trevor and Derek, of course, have a storyline planned for them. So there's obviously a reason they're back, but part of being popular might be a reason they're returning. I don't know, I guess we will see. But what I do really agree with is the fact that there's a lot of people in production now. By my knowledge, right off the top of my head, I think there's like 9 people in production. And when there's like 18 campers, how are they going to give the amount of focus required for production? I mean, granted, it is like 21 episodes, so I'm sure it can manage to figure out a way to do it. However, you still got to give a lot of the focus to the actual characters. I mean, yeah, we're watching to see the characters. I mean, yeah, production's cool, but the main reason we're watching is to see competitors play on a survivor-based reality show that's animated. So, yeah, I do find that very interesting, but I definitely do agree that there's a lot of people working on staff now. We'll see if it works, but I do feel like there's not going to be enough time to give each production member the focus they require, and especially since there's a new character. Again, we do have like 21 episodes to learn about her, so I'm not going to judge too much. However, how are you going to fit all of this into like one episode, being 22 minutes, including the Patreon? Maybe they're going to make it longer. I think every All-Stars episode is going to have to be longer than they usually go for, but maybe we'll see, and I'll be proven wrong there. Jake, Tom, Miriam were hypocrites in episode 9. Oh my goodness! No hate towards them, but I couldn't stand them in episode 9. They all judged Gabby for saving Ellie and betraying their alliance when they would do the exact same thing if they were in her place. They started trying to remove them from the challenge, and then when they just did the same thing and asked why they were trying to get them out of the challenge, they say they're doing the same thing, implying that Gabby and Ellie were the ones who started it. Ooh, okay, so I think this person means episode 8, not episode 9, the one where we came all that. So I'm just going to consider this as episode 8. If I'm wrong, definitely do correct me in the comments. I'm just going to assume from this description it is episode 8. Either way, I do kind of agree. I don't consider them unbearable, but I definitely do think that you are right in the fact that they would probably do the same. But, And also, here's the thing. Jake did start by getting Gabby out of the challenge, but when Gabby did the same to him, he immediately gets angry and pestered. Like, clearly this is Gabby's fault. It's the point of the challenge. Do you expect people to be like, nope, Jake, you're gonna be fine. I'm just gonna target people who didn't get me out, but you got me out and I'm not gonna target you. It's just, what the heck, Jake? Oh, whatever. Anyways, next one, which is Alec being betrayed by the one he considered the most was the best karma, having in mind that he did the same to Ellie. As good as it was karma, I'm not about to deny that. It was the best way to defeat him and get him out. However, it's the way the defeat was executed, because it felt like I'll definitely talk about this later because I think there's another unpopular opinion I put down. Yeah. Later, I'll talk about that more. But anyways, Jake is indeed toxic, though he's a very entertaining character. Yeah, he is very entertaining. I can't deny that. Anyways, next up, Miriam is overrated, although incredibly well written. She floated by most of the competition until the penultimate episode, and probably won because of the overwhelming hype she gets. I used to be part of the hype, but since episode 11, I didn't anymore due to the sheer suffocation. I do think the Miriam hype is mostly well earned because of how well written she is, because again, she is incredibly well written, as this person states. However, I do agree that she did float from most of you. When I say most, I mean from episodes 1 to 5, she completely floated. Episode 6, I don't think she did. We can obviously debate the next few episodes. I definitely go more into depth on this. However, I wouldn't consider Miriam too overrated. I do think she's, okay, that's gonna cause some anger, but I do think Miriam's a great character, really well written. Oh, I also forgot to mention this. And the fact that her faking a heart attack to blame, which reflects Ellie's dirty play with worse, after shaming her for it, shows the massive hypocrisy, with most of the fandom actually, oh yeah, okay. So, also about the heart attack, I don't like that faking heart attack. Look, she, as this person states, she has been shown to just being bashing people. How dare you play dirty? How dare you do this? Then she does it herself. Look, you can argue if it's justified or not. Go on that. However, it's out of character for Miriam. If she has been spending her past episodes just bashing people, how dare you play dirty, Ellie? How dare you do that? And then she just does it herself. I don't like that. I don't like that either. Anyways, next up, the Jake and Fallout seems weirdly realistic. Jake and Ellie Fallout, by the way. Feels really realistic and marvelously written to say that no one was in the right but not completely in the wrong. Anyways, somebody also talked about this, Hacky P. Yeah, I think that's how. Yeah. Both Ellie and Jake are somewhat in the wrong, somewhat in the right in episodes 10 and 11 drama, and I'm sick of people strictly vilifying one or the other. I think that's a very interesting way to go about this. The fact that it is just so well done to where you can't say, well, one's in the right, one's in the wrong. I do think it was but that's an entire other discussion. But still, I do definitely agree that it was well written. It's just the characters in it. The actual conflict was well written. It's the fact that some of the characters had to be sacrificed. Basically, Jake was sacrificed at the hands of a really well written conflict. Anyways, the next one is Drew is overrated. In my opinion, he didn't do anything the whole game, so I don't understand why everyone likes him as a character. The main reason I think he's really well liked is because he's a very wholesome and very adorable quote-unquote character. Because a lot of characters in these shows, you don't get that. You get them being drama-filled, tons of drama, which of course is the point of the show. I'm not gonna be like, how dare they have drama? No. Some of them have tons of drama, and this is just a nice change of pace. I feel like for just a character to be decently wholesome, not have the worst backstory known to man, and just be chill. It's a nice pace because most of the season 1 cast does just very sad backstories, which I do think that makes it a much more interesting show overall, but it also makes the wholesome characters kind of like Drew stand out more. That's at least what I see personally. Of course, there can be different things. Anyways, the next opinion is Drew should have been a finalist. Oh my gosh, okay, that's interesting. I think it could have worked if he got the development he needed. I do think he's a really cool character, but I don't think he should have been a finalist because I feel like that would have been overstaying his welcome. I do, again, think that if he had him swap placements, that would have given Drew the perfect amount of screen time, because I feel like if Drew made finale at that point, it would have been very overused. Or they could give him this like arc of him learning how to talk. That would have been very interesting, but again, Drew's not coming back, so. Again, Drew does have potential, but then again, every character does, so. Okay, Dan is the most boring character. He barely did anything in season 1. No character arc. His little conflict with Gabby is the only thing you can think of, and no character development overall. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate him. I even kind of like him. I just wish he was eliminated earlier to give more room for other characters to develop more, or he just could have been more developed. Thank you! I know I talked about Dan earlier, and I also included this. I don't know why I didn't include those at the same area, but whatever. But, like, yes! I do think Drew could have gotten, again, the development I was just talking about for becoming a finalist. Just use that through the episodes. Drew's development could have been so much more interesting. And I actually gave Dan an arc in my Missed Potential video. You can go check it out there. But I do really like the arc I gave Dan there. And some people in the comments actually added really nice additions to that arc. So that could have worked well. Either way, I do wish he did more so I could actually care for him as a character. Anyways, Ashley is super overrated. She didn't do anything to ever be nice to people. I don't think she should be in All-Stars, and Dan would have been better. Okay, so Dan being in Ashley's place is a popular opinion, so I do think Ashley's a good fit because I think that Ashley's going to be the new Ellie to Jake. What I mean is that Ashley's going to be the new best friend to Jake. as I stated earlier, again, I fear that, but but yeah, I agree that Ashley's super overrated. She's just a glorified extra. I know I keep saying that, but Fiore described it so perfectly that I cannot use anything else now. Miriam winning was super predictable once Allie got out, which honestly kind of ruined the finale for me. Like, I did not see Ellie or Fiore winning at all, especially since they were finalists of the BTA. For those who don't know, again, the season 1 is based off of the BTA. I think most people know that. However, some people just have watched the BTA. I recommend you don't. oh dear, that's really, I'm sorry. If you want to watch it, go ahead, but I personally don't think I'd be rewatching it. But anyways, I don't know. I do agree that if you watch the BTA, I think the reboot, again, it could be cooler. However, it does take away the fact that Ellie and Fiore were both BTA finalists, so they can't really win again. Although I do think Ellie should. I need to stop on that, but yeah, she was predictable after episode 12, but I don't consider her overall predictable winner because, again, we thought she'd be booted like 11 episodes, and then when it's like revealed at the end of episode 11 or something, I don't know, people are like, oh, okay, and some people still thought she was being booted. Some people still thought that, so I don't consider her the most predictable winner known to man, and I wouldn't consider it being that bad, especially if you're binge watching it. Like, if you're binge watching it, I'm sure you're not going to expect Miriam of all things to win. Of course she wouldn't, so I wouldn't consider it the most predictable winner, but later in the season I do see why you would think that. Episode 13 ruined Disventurecamp Season 1 from an unsatisfying winner with no build-up and a really shameful playstyle in the finale to the underdevelopment and boring Joseph subplot genuinely ruined what the season was all about. And then the next person, I'm going to quickly say this, another person defended that finale Season 1 is one of the best episodes in the whole series. The reason I'm including these both together, I think it's a very interesting perspective to see two people's sides on this. So the way the whole season builds up on Gabby, Tom, Derek, Trevor, and Jensen all being part of something great, and the way it ended build up suspense for all the stars. It gives Miriam and Tom a great starting relationship, and I want it to make it far. So I'm going to quickly talk about with the finale of Season 1. So the season builds up on Gabby, Tom, Derek, and Trevor, and Jensen. It does, however, it got boring after a bit. As this person states, the before person talking about, it's underdeveloped, the boring Jensen subplot. It started off very interesting, however, I don't know. Maybe this is just me, but I've also seen other people finding it boring the way it ended. I don't know, like, it's very intense and very cool that Tom had those gadgets. Like, cool ending fight scene, I guess. But it's also like, I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's missing something. Maybe that is just me, because again, this person says, maybe they are missing something, the person who's defending the Season 1 finale, but I don't see it, so. And Miriam and Tom, I do agree they have a nice just bond, and I really do appreciate that bond. Like, why is Miriam's bond with pretty much everybody just so wholesome? Well, unless you're Ellie, or unless you're Fior. I need to stop. Yeah, so going back to the person who said that ruined, I would not consider one episode to ruin a season for me. Multiple episodes have to be really, really bad to ruin a season. For instance, I'm going to go to Season 2, Episode 9 of Disventurecamp Season 2. That episode is one of the worst episodes. I'm sorry again to all my Season 2, Episode 9 fans, though I know there's barely any. I hate that episode with an absolute burning passion. If you want to know why, just go to my ranking. I literally spent a third of the video ranting about how much I hate it, but but yeah, still. But unsatisfying winner, I do think Miriam's a decently satisfying winner, depending on what you consider, but with no build-up and a really shameful playstyle in the finale. I do think she had a little build-up. I do wish there was a bit more personally. And I do not like the fact that she did that. Look, you can argue it's justified, but I feel like, again, it's a character for Miriam. But yeah, it genuinely, again, I don't think one episode can ruin a series, but I don't think it's the best, one of the best. I think it's a very mediocre episode when it comes to Season 1 quality, so personally, I think it was still really good though. Mediocre, not really, whatever. Anyway, next up, I don't know if this is a popular take, but to be honest, I don't really care for anyone in Season 1 who got eliminated for the merge. Season 2 applies it well to a lesser extent. I included this because I do consider this unpopular, considering how much Ashley and Will and Drew are popular among the community. I do care for most of the pre-merge characters, I do. It's just, the main one I cared about for Season 2, I would actually flip this. I cared a lot more about the people who got booted in Season 1 than I did Season 2, and maybe that's because in Season 1 I had to get really into the series. Once I became like a YouTuber of Disventurecamp, I had to make sure I knew enough about the series for it to work. So I guess that could also play a part, but the only main character I really cared about that got eliminated pre-merge was season 2 was Yule. That's the only one I gave care about that got eliminated pretty much. So there's that. But when it comes to season 1, I cared a bit about Lil, I cared a bit about Ashley, and I did care a bit about Drew. So there's all that, I suppose. So yeah, I kind of agree, but I also kind of don't agree. But anyways, I don't understand why Fiore betraying Alec was seen as unexpected. The show already established that she's capable of bringing Wish to win. Here's why. The episode beforehand, the episodes have been building up to Fiore actually caring for Alec. It's been building this dynamic up, and in episode 11, it all comes to a head when Fiore's like, oh, I care about Alec? And it feels like that they're going to go a direction of building up Fiore to be a more three-dimensional character. Because I feel like this potential for development to show that she actually cares about Alec and having to deal with that conflict will be so interesting for Fiore as a character, because she is very quote-unquote gimmicky. I do think she's very entertaining. She's a really cool character to watch. However, I think that the friendship with Alec that she had was very interesting and gave her more dimension, but that was all thrown in the trash in episode 12. And it feels like the episode 11 build-up didn't work for the episode 12 build-up. I get it. It was seen as unexpected because of the episode 11 build-up, in other words, because it was building up the opposite when, in other words, it should have been more hinting to the betrayal. This betrayal needed to be more built up, in my opinion. This betrayal, if it was built up, could have easily been the best moment of the series if they wanted to go for that. But it's just the execution, the build-up. Okay, but yeah. Anyways, Jake and Tom, thank you, are the words, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate this person. Thank you. And I really do. I'm happy that finally some people see that. I could go on another rant, but today's not the day. This video is already way too long. This might have been said before, but Jake is better than Aiden. It depends. So objectively, who is the better written character? Jake's the better written character. Likability-wise, I like Aiden more. So it depends on what you're talking about. So if it's written-wise, I agree. If it's likability-wise, I don't. Okay. Jake is so overhated. He is very realistic, and he's the main reason why Miri and Tom Ellie get development. I don't know if he's the most realistic person. Again, I can't tell. Maybe he is realistic. I don't relate to him. I've never been through some of the things Jake has, so I can't really inform you on that. Also, Jake is better than Ellie, and Tom and Jake are better than Gabby and Ellie. Oh, okay. I cannot agree with this too. I would put, I can't agree. I do apologize, but I cannot agree with this in the slightest, personally. Anyway, next up, Alec did nothing in this Disventurecamp season 1 except ride Fiore. His coattails. He's incredibly overrated. Oh, and he deserves to be betrayed. Oh, okay. I wouldn't consider him the most overrated character, but I do feel like he deserved to be betrayed by Fiore for what he did in episode 6. I feel like that is karma at its finest. However, I do wish there was more build up to it. Anyways, Miriam should not have won season 1. Earlier, Fiore should have won. I don't think Fiore should have won. That would have been very unsatisfying to me because, this evil child has just been torturing everybody, and, she just gets the money in the end, too. Why not? But I don't think that would have been satisfying. I think her being defeated is a lot more satisfying than her winning. I do think that Ellie should have won, though. So, yeah, I partially agree. Anyways, I feel like the Romance Disventurecamp loses chance for more interactions. They added an explanation too, but I completely agree with this. I'm just going to clearly say. Because it feels like, again, they use this example too. Tess, Allie, and Hunter feel like their plot lines left us a chance for friendships with other people. Because the only screen time they had to focus on they didn't have the time. When it came to characters like Ellie and Gabby, we actually got to see their interactions with the others, not just each other, which I think is why Ellie and Gabby are also much better. Because we get to see their interactions with other people. Because, again, we didn't know as much because they couldn't branch out. You know what I'm trying to say? I completely agree with this person now. Completely agree. Anyways, next up is, instead of being told the contents of the letters in season 1, they should have shown it to us, the audience. Perhaps after Gabby's elimination, Derek could have read out everyone's letters mockingly and used a projector and visualized it to show everyone to stir up more conflict by exposing people against their will. Trevor would be against this, but wouldn't be able to stop Derek. This would make the ending more satisfying as it gives us a reason to like Derek and find that Trevor cares for being reluctant but still a follower. Ooh, yes! This idea! I don't know if it's unpopular, but I've never heard it talked about, so I'm just going to say it's unpopular. But I really like this idea. Good job. Buffy's, good job. Anyway, next up, Fiore eliminating Alec was great. She was the villain, she knew Alec could be in her finale, acknowledged that her feelings had gotten in her way. This Fiore is way more entertaining. I do think that her betraying Alec is a very I mean, it's interesting way to go about a character. And again, Ruthless Fiore is very entertaining. And again, she acknowledges the fact that the feelings get in the way of everything, but it feels like she didn't regret it enough. I know this is like, what do you mean? Because I feel like once she betrayed Alec, it's like any care for him just disappeared. Because again, I wish she just did regret it a bit more too. Like she was like her feelings, like the care towards Alec was more acknowledged instead of it being completely ignored. So it feels a bit more natural. That's just me though, me personally. But yeah, I did see that. Anyway, Fiore and Alec's duo relationship was low-key weird because I'm talking to a grown child. I'm sorry if I got way too funny. I guess that can be debated, I guess. Anyways, Ellie and Bria did nothing wrong. I cannot agree with that. Ellie, despite being one of the biggest Ellie fans, probably in character history, she did destroy, I don't know, I would not consider that in the right. And Rhea left someone off a cliff, so I can't just say that they're in the wrong. They did nothing wrong. Next up, I thought Ellie was the main character since the beginning of the show. Her character didn't seem very interesting to me. The only people she really spoke to on Purple Team were Gabby before she switched teams, Alec and Fiore. She also didn't do much in challenging for episode 10. I always thought people don't like Dan because she didn't bring this game, but Ellie really doesn't either. I also thought she didn't deserve to have made it this far because Gabby stayed with Persona. And you know, I do like Dan, and she and Gabby voted him out. I started just like voting Ellie and Gabby a lot after that. That's completely fair. I honestly saw Ellie as a very mediocre character in the very beginning episodes because I was like, okay, she's here. Moving on. And I also found her a very mediocre character in the BTA. However, I do feel like the interactions with Alec and Fiore are very intriguing with her. I think they're interesting. And I do think Gabby's interactions also built her up a bit more. And what I really did, I think the reason I really deserve Link is that she actually has motivations. I know that's like, what? But so little characters in these shows are actually have built up motivations that aren't the villains. Like, they actually need the money. We don't get the development from the like hero/neutral side. We barely get the development. So seeing the fact that she needs the money and seeing that development really intrigued me into a character. And after having to do a lot of rewatching and a lot of deep dives, I just think that Ellie's a very interesting character. overall anyway. Moving, just that me personally, and I do understand that. I do think she brings something to the table, being a lot more interesting of a character, being the fact her interactions are a lot more interesting than Dan's ever were. And that to me, she did a lot more than Dan ever did. So yeah, that's just me personally. Anyway, I guess mine would be that Ashley X Will, while cool, isn't really that interesting. And we also see none of it. So thinking about the Armin's favorite ship, somebody also mentioned that they really like Wishley, and I completely get why. I do wish we got to see a bit more development. But compared to a lot of the other ships, and the fact that it's actually a really like wholesome type ship, I do really like them as a ship. I think it's absolutely adorable. So. And I get it. Maybe my opinions will change. We'll see. And maybe we'll get some Wishley moments in Disventure Camp All-Stars, like Ashley mentioning him on the fly. We'll see. But I completely get why. Moving on to the season 2 of Popular Opinions.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
Alright, starting off with a strong season 2 of Popular Opinions. I dislike Lake as she's caused Rhea to lose. I hate Lake and especially Rosa. Okay. Since Rhea betraying Rosa makes no sense, especially since it was done for stock value and it ruined her stock to winning. So we're gonna unpack this one at a time. I cannot hate a character for one action. Like, let's go for Miriam. Miriam, I don't like the fact she did a heart attack. Fake. I don't like that. I'm not going to dislike her entire character and ignore her entire character just because of one action. I'm not going to. And honestly, I think Lake defeating Rhea is the beautiful karma. Beautiful thing we call karma. Because the person that she screwed up at the very beginning of her villain arc is just getting a little revenge. Beautiful. So I actually really like that factor. But anyways, I don't know. I feel like if Rhea... After thinking about it a bit, it feels stupid that she betrayed Rosa, but it's fine. It works. The gameplay she moves, she works, but anyway. Connor quitting season 2 and Rosa made final 5 out of 10. She should have been in All-Stars. Because the main reason I put this, because realistically, a person quitting for no reason doesn't deserve All-Stars. That is true. It's true that Connor doesn't deserve All-Stars that much, but he's here and he's going to be entertaining, so that's fine. I think Tess, Allie, Hunter are overrated, honestly. I would consider Tess underrated, if anything. Allie and Hunter, I do agree, are overrated. They did nothing. Tess, though, I think is a really nice, just sweet little mini arc, and I'm so excited to see her interact with Gabby and Ellie. And I actually predicted that, which, oh my gosh, I got something right! Anyway, moving on. Season 2 was mid-season badly written characters. Okay. I think it depends what you would consider badly written. Most of them are it's fine. Some of them are written better than others, some of them are good. I do think it's a very mediocre season though, so I do kind of agree. Thank you! This person says Yule is a perfectly executed pre-merge villain and one of the best characters. Thank you! Finally! I know this is but I always see hate for Yule and no one barely anybody acknowledges the fact that he is such a good villain, so entertaining, and is just such a fun character to watch. Is he the biggest piece of crap? Yes. But villains like that are absolutely hilarious and entertaining to watch. Anyway, Rhea was an awful villain and her becoming ruined her character. I think her becoming a villain made her a lot more interesting because we basically knew that she's just this underdog hero who's done nothing. Seeing her become a villain made her so much more entertaining in the long run, and I think it was completely the right move to go for that instead. Just me personally, so I do not think I think some of it ruined her character because I think finale Rhea just burned her character into the garbage can, but we'll see how it goes in Disventurecamp Ultra, so I'm not going to judge, but I do wish finale Rhea was better, personally. Anyway, hey, Jane and Aiden so much. Their fights were so dumb and their dynamics so cute. Not even considering the fact they chose literally the two worst characters in the season to pair up. Aiden, the day's production arc feels so unearned. It felt just like to keep Aiden around here. Oh my, literally all you do in season 2 is okay. I personally don't hate the two, but I also don't think they're the best. They're okay, but I think a lot of people don't really because they get so much focus. So if you do not like that James and Aiden, you're not gonna really like season 2. I think that's a given. Completely get why they think that. Anyways, moving on. Rosemary is so overrated. She barely had a personality besides nice. Thank you. Moving on. Oh my goodness. Okay, this one is gonna be very, very interesting. Okay. I really feel like James is not a good character. All of his actions deem him to be a villain or a great character, but the show doesn't paint him as one. He influenced James Aiden into cheating and feeling good after medically evacuating Carol. Maria when his phone was stolen, poisoned you when it was not necessary, trash talked to all of his fans to buy their bags for who knows what reason. Okay, I'm gonna quickly paint on this real quick. I do understand why he did that, because in the moment, the James at that moment was like, Aiden was his, as we hear in episode 13, he realized that Aiden was his everything. So something like that. So realizing that he's gonna lose the one person who saw him for him and changed him to be a better person, he immediately panicked and immediately tried to think that, maybe if I talk down my fans, maybe that'll work. He was just in a rush of thinking. So moving on though. Manipulated Aiden the whole season is proof was when Rhea found his phone. It had a recent message. Was it a recent message? I don't know. Well, technically, what is the timeline of recent? I know this is weird, but I feel like he would have stopped in episode 5 or episode 6, so that depends, I guess. But anyways, showing that he's still talking about manipulating Aiden and never once defended him. And finally, the worst of it all, when he got exposed where he did Aiden, he tried to hide it. I'm sorry, but I don't think the writers noticed that both him and Rhea weren't sorry about that, what they had done, and I both felt sorry when they got caught. Does anybody think that James would have told Aiden? What the heck no. I really liked him, and when he got exposed, I really never liked him, sorry. When he got exposed, I burst out laughing at it completely. And it was from him, and I found myself disappointed on how he won all the money after all that. Rhea pointed out most of the stuff I said. Oh my gosh. This is such a good analysis. Okay, we just gotta unpack this, because they are kind of, oh my gosh. This is my first reaction to the comics. I've never read it before. I just copy and pasted random ones I found. Because, but this is a very interesting way to take James's character, and especially since, the reason they needed him to poison Yule was to give Yule an actual satisfying villain. Because if we're just saying that James just quickly betrays Yule, would that be as entertaining? No. So I do see why they went for that writing decision. But character-wise, it does make him seem more like a villain. So I do understand. Completely episode 9, I completely agree with you. I hate that. I hate all of episode 9. I hate the characters in episode 9. Pretty much every single one is just no. You guys know I don't like episode 9. Just completely get that. That's very bad on James' part for how he acted in episode 10 too. Oh my goodness, though. I know this is like, what am I thinking right now? Do I agree or not? But this is such good analysis too. I might need to actually, I've rewatched season 2 so much now. I just thought James was a okay character. And here this person is making me rethink everything. Anyways, thank you so much for the kind words, by the way. Thank you. Anyways, we're going to be moving on, but to that person, you did a great job. I'm going to be rethinking everything I knew about James' character now. Anyways, the lead up to Rita's arc was good. My problem is that reveal happens way too late in the season for her to be villainous and have the redemption afterwards. I do see that completely. Yeah, it does happen a bit late. I would have liked to see it happen earlier, maybe just earlier. That would have been cool, I guess, but Hunter had a lot to tap into for a villain arc, and I honestly prefer that happening over the love triangle. Just thinking about these labels, the player, and some of his lines from the first 2 episodes. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm not going to touch too much on that for reasons. But anyways, as much as I do like Rosa Maria, her being absent from All Stars makes sense. She's more of a support character. Yep, agreed completely, because like she and I think it's been confirmed by one of the writers or creators on Twitter, I think, from what I've heard. Again, I don't have social media, guys. We've been through that, other than moving on past that point. I think it's been confirmed that she was actually invited to All Stars but declined because she's taking care of Sophia. So yeah, I think that's turns true. Anyways, the pre-merge season 2 challenges bore me a lot due to them being taken from Total Drama and lacking mid-challenge character interaction. That's very fair. That's completely fair. I do think that them using the True Challenge in episode 4 was really cool. I don't like the episode 3 challenge. Episode 2, again, it's completely new. So I do get that. Anyways, Connor could vastly help and add social for Alec. Ooh, this person says Alec and Fiore and even Miriam. So I think, over Carol. Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting to me. I never thought of him giving depth to Fiore or Alec, but in Miriam too. Interesting. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, James and Aiden they were. That's blue. What they were saying, James and Aiden are unjustifiably merciless to Carol. That's completely true. Like, bro, you betrayed her at $1 million. Of course she wants to get you right out. What do you think? Oh my gosh, okay. Anyways. Aiden's character might have been received better without the preview bio. It doesn't exactly match him well. Okay, so for those who don't know, there are preview bios for all the season 2 contestants. If you just Google like Aiden's Disventurecamp cast, you'll find it. I think Aiden's off the top of my head, I'm not going to go and research it right now, but off the top of my head, he was because I've done a lot of research on season 2 now, I've done a lot. His preview bio implied him to be a very strategical player. Like, he was going to be the most strategic, he was going to be seeing through everybody, he was going to be this great strategical player, he can win it, he can do this. But that's not what he is. He's probably the stupidest strategically, so yeah, maybe the pre-merge bio could have been a bit preview bio. But yeah, James is a better winner than Miriam. That can be completely debated. I do think it depends on what you like more. Basically, if you like a more likable character, as me personally, I think James is more likable than Miriam. But after, that amazing analysis for James' character, I'm questioning that. Oh dear. Anyway, Hunter is one of the worst characters in the show. I wouldn't consider him one of the worst, but he's very mediocre. Yul is a forced character. He is like Julia, but wrong in every single way. If he wanted to improve your image, why did you try to poison him? Okay, so I'm gonna quickly touch on this. So as the person just mentioned before, the preview bios. Preview bio for Yul literally states he never wanted to be a dancer. He was forced into it by his family. So my personal theory when it comes to that, he didn't care for he didn't want to be a dancer. He never wanted to be. He was forced into it. So he thinks, well, if I let my reputation go, that's fine. And plus, he's been through a lot, so he has a tragic backstory that we just never notice or pay attention. I don't know, I find that very interesting. Anyways, next up, I do not understand when James poisoned Yul to have he's seen as a hero, but when Aiden wanted to protect James from being eliminated and actually caused Carol's accident, he gets all the hate. Here's why. Because that is very out of character for Aiden. Why the heck would Aiden, this character we've known to never do anything like this, and bash people for doing something like this or something like that? He would just... And you can say he unintentionally, he very intentionally caused it. You can argue that, I guess, but he put the spider on Oliver to sabotage her. He just wanted to make sure, and then he doesn't see himself in the wrong when he breaks her leg. See, Yule is a lot more forgiving to me because Yule's the biggest piece of crap known to man. He is just the worst person. When it comes to Carol, though, she's fine. She's very justified in what she did in my eyes. Because she literally just got voted out for $1 million by these people. Of course she doesn't want to trust the people who took her out of $1 million. Who would? It's ridiculous, and it's just, I'm not going to go on that rant, but either way, Aiden is the most relatable character ever. Watching him gave me the feeling I myself was competing. As stated earlier, this is the reason why people like Aiden, because he is so relatable, and it feels like if you were in the show. That is what Aiden feels like to me. Like, if you were in the show, you would be an Aiden. I think that's the first thing a lot of people state. So that is the reason why, because he's so relatable to people, and I think that was the reason he was created. He was created to be relatable and a really likable character, which they succeeded in. Again, I just wish that more was done with Aiden. But anyways, the final few unpopular opinions, so let's get into it. Yule should have made an alliance with Rhea, Tess, Hunter, and Kai and dominated the game with it. I don't think he would have ever considered making an alliance with Kai, depending on how much he hated him, so I don't think that would have worked. However, I do agree that he should have probably brought Rhea into the alliance and not Allie, because again, if Allie and Tess and Hunter are all friends and stuff, Yule, that's spelling doom for you. But anyways, Aiden should have betrayed James during the Wake-a-thon and joined Carol. Yes! Oh my gosh, that would have been so much better. So entertaining. Oh my gosh, that would make it such an interesting dynamic when Aiden actually is starting to care for James as a friend, and Carol comes back and tries to strategize with Aiden to get out James, but it doesn't work because Aiden now cares for him. Yes! Anyway, Rhea would have been better see that she was a villain from the start. True, but I don't think that would have been as interesting, so I'm kind of happy they didn't go for that. Tess and Allie should have been voted off together during the Chorus elimination. Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Yes. That would have been so much more entertaining. Plus, Allie did absolutely nothing for 3 extra episodes, so yeah. The love triangle isn't bad. What's bad is most people involved don't develop as much compared to other characters. I guess that's true, but also I just don't like love triangles. If you see my channel, you know I don't like love triangles. You know that's not my type of thing. So I don't like it either way. And this is obviously no offense to the writers. I just never liked love triangles. And the next opinion, I absolutely do like the love triangle and completely on board if it just lunacy balance the moments of sweetness and a bit of seriousness, mainly coming from Tess and the latter two. Season 2 describes itself as a parody, and the love triangle is meant to highlight that. For starters, a love triangle like that is also meant to showcase the absurd, the type of dynamic is both animated and in real life. So their specific pairing of Allie and Hunter Tess is meant to show to be funny. I don't find the love triangle funny. I don't personally see it as entertaining either. I'm just like, please stop. What I do really appreciate about the love triangle, though, just to give the love triangle a bit of praise, the fact that nobody ends up together in anything, I really do appreciate, because it feels like to me, love triangles usually in media are just used to cause some drama and cause distractions from the main couple. That's always going to happen no matter what. It's going to happen anyways. We're just making you have an extra ship, which I just don't like that, and I really do appreciate the fact that here, no ship is canon, and it's just up to your discretion, and I really, really do agree. Final opinions real quick. I don't know why, but I cannot stand Kai Maggie. They're okay, I guess. I don't really care for them, but yeah. I like the season 2 finale more than season 1. Sugar's Rush was Rush and Jane was the best option for winner, but overall was fun to watch. Meanwhile, the season 1 finale wasn't horrible, but the season had a couple, did have a couple loose ends left untied because they're probably leaving that for All-Stars, but still, it would have been nice to see a little conclusion, because if we didn't know All-Stars was coming, if we didn't know it was coming very soon, we'd be just left wondering, okay, what are these characters doing? What are they doing now? And some of them got really bad endings when they don't really deserve those bad endings, so as this person says, but it kind of left me somewhat unsatisfied with some characters. Also, the Ellie and Miriam definitely makes my blood boil thinking about it. Yeah, that's completely fair. I completely understand why that makes your blood boil. I do not like that scene that much, but anyways. Alright, on to the conclusion.
I have a complaint. The other team has an advantage.
Advantage in what?
They have an ogre.
Yeah, that is my unpopular opinions, and what about yours? If I did not mention them in this video, I do apologize. Again, this video is already way too long, and I probably shortened the amount I added, but at least it shortened the Q&A by a bit. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody!